If you're looking for a podcast that packs in sound property advice, as well as offering you an insight into making the world of property effective and ultimately work for you, you're in the right place. Hosted by Arsh the original property rebel. He's written an Amazon bestseller, created the Property Investor app, the UK's first, and is an experienced property mentor. More importantly, he talks the talk and walks the walk.
Hi everyone, and welcome to another episode of The Property Rebel with your host Arsh Ilahi. And today we're covering a topic which I think everyone wants to know the answer of. Is there any such thing as a motivated seller? Now, before we get into any of that, I want to quickly say a quick hello. Quick hello to everyone that's listening. And also a quick hello to all new subscribers, all new listeners. Welcome to the Property Rebel channel. Hopefully you're enjoying it. Hopefully you're enjoying the content. Hopefully you're enjoying the real one-cut take where we don't edit or do any of the fancy stuff. And you will get some ifs, ums and ahs, and maybe even some long pauses. But believe it or not, that's okay. So let's get straight into it. Motivated sellers. If you're a property investor, and you're looking to buy property, everyone is searching to find the most motivated seller. And the reason why we're looking to find the most motivated seller is because the more motivated they are, perhaps the better the deal they're going to do, or the more flexible they're going to be in allowing you to acquire the property in a strategic manner. And we'll cover that shortly. So what is a motivated seller? A motivated seller, generally speaking, if you were to categorize or generalize as to what a motivated seller is, generally it'd be a person in financial hardship. You know, straight away people think motivated seller must have some money issues and therefore they've got some financial hardship. Therefore, they're going to be a motivated seller and they're going to want to negotiate on the price, or you're going to be able to negotiate on the price and get the best possible deal. Now, depending on how you look at it, and believe it or not, I've actually done a podcast on this where I've always said that price isn't always the main factor. You know, there is a way of actually investing in property and still paying market value. So I thought I did an episode on it. If not, I will do an episode on it because that is a really important factor. There have been some scenarios where I've bought a property at full market value and I didn't mind paying the full market value for it because it worked for them. More importantly, it worked for me, and I was still able to add value to the property. So add value is a big word there. So let's get back to motivated sellers. So like I said previously, everyone assumes that motivated seller is someone that's going through some financial hardship, whether they're going through a repossession, whether they've just lost their job, etc. But have you thought that motivated sellers could come in many different forms? So it could be someone that's looking to upscale, so buy a bigger house. It could be someone that's looking to downscale. So let's just imagine that your parent and all your children have now either been married off or they've gone off to university and you've got empty nest syndrome. So these guys may become motivated sellers. Could be someone going into a care home. It could be someone that's looking to retire. Maybe someone looking to go abroad. Maybe someone that's looking to emigrate. It could be other issues such as relationship issues where they're going through some hard times and perhaps looking to separate. Now, in the 20 years that I've been trading properties, I can't say that money and financial hardship has been the most common theme when I'm buying a property direct from a vendor. Generally speaking, the common theme is that they're either looking to upscale, downscale, and then followed very closely by relationship issues. And we talk about that now because as we're in COVID-19, when we're in lockdown, it was reported that divorce rates were going to hit the roof. Now that's interesting because that means that divorce rate's going to hit the roof. Think about it. If you are, and I don't wish this on anyone, but at some point you're going to go through a tough time in your relationship and you're going to think, well, you know, to be fair, is this really the right place for me? Should I separate? And then you start to think, okay, well, if I was to separate, think of all the things that's going to have to happen. It gets slightly messy when there's kids and stuff involved, but look, just for the record, I've not had to go through this, touch wood, thankfully. but I know lots of people that have, and they've been in a very dark and difficult place. But one of the things that ties them together, believe it or not, well, two things. First of all, children, the most important thing. Second of all, is the asset or the house that they live in. Now, kids, they can come to some kind of arrangement, but with the house, it very is clear is what do we do with it? Do we sell it or do we rent it? If they rent it, they've still got that kind of joint ownership and there's still that kind of connection. Now, if you're going through a divorce, generally speaking, people are going through this route because they want a clean break. And what I found is that renting is not the option because there's still that connection. They still have to communicate and, they don't never feel like they've had a clean break from it. So they try and sell it. They put it on the open market. With the best will in the world, it'll sell quickly. Worst case scenario, it's sat there month 1, month 2, month 3, month 4. They've got everything else kind of concluded in terms of their financial matters. The only thing that's holding them together is this house. And I've come across this time and time again, and this is the most motivated kind of vendor. The guys that are going through financial hardship, yes, they are motivated, but you'll find you'll have to dig deep to try and find those. The guys that are going through some marital or relationship issues are quite easy to spot when you go and do a viewing. And so therefore, you know that they're motivated, and therefore you sit down with both of them and say, guys, okay, tell me what the issue is, not with regards to their marriage, because I'm not a relationship counsellor or anything like that, but just understand a little bit about how much is outstanding on the mortgage, having a look at what the property worth, what they're looking to walk away with it. And when we talk about motivated sellers, I've said this earlier, money is not always the motivator. And those that treat money as a motivator will kind of fail when they come to negotiation. So I try and get to the root of the motivation. So I look at two words, and I use these two words pretty much daily. They're called pain and motivation. Write them down. Pain and motivation. We've got to understand what is the pain. Where is the pain? What's caused the pain? Let's get to the root of the issue. And then as a result of that, understand what the motivation and come up with a solution for that motivation. So when we're speaking to a motivated seller, going to a motivated seller who is going through repossession and then trying to kick them whilst they're down is not, for me, is not a win-win. There's only one person winning in that solution, in that scenario, and that's the person buying the property. Okay, the house is worth 100 grand. They're going through repossession that owes 70 grand on it. I'll tell you what, let's just offer them 70 grand. That's what 99% of the people would do. Let's just pay off their debt. That way, they're not having to go through bankruptcy or they're not having to go through repossession. They keep the credit file in check. There are other ways that you can structure that. You've got to look at a way that how can this person come out where their credit file is still intact, where everything's been paid off. They can still go off and start to recreate their life. And you've got to look at it from not only a business aspect, but from a personal aspect as well. So if you're going there and you're literally going for the jugular and you're literally offering them next to nothing and they're coming out with next to nothing from the negotiation, that's not really a great way to deal with business, if I'm honest. And your business may be short-lived. I'm hoping that you don't do that, but if you do, perhaps you may need to use this just as a time of reflection. And I've been there. I'll be honest, I've been there. When I was young and naive back in year 2000, between 2000 and 2008, I was young. I was an aggressive negotiator. Okay, your house is worth 100 grand. Let's start at 60 grand. I was getting 40% discounts. Over time, I perhaps softened up, but as a result, I've learned the art of negotiation. So understanding what is the pain, understanding what is the motivation, and coming out with a real win-win scenario. So when you're looking at motivated sellers, remember, rule number 1, money is not the be-all or end-all. Rule number 2, understand what is the pain and what is the motivation. Rule number 3, come up with a solution that solves everyone's issues and creates a win-win scenario. Give you a little story, because I like to give stories, is that I became a motivated seller a few years back. So about 5 years ago, I found what I would consider a dream house. And I said to my wife, we've got to buy this house. And she goes, okay, great. And she goes, what do you want to do with that existing house? And I said, well, we can rent it, but I was kind of emotionally attached. So I said, no, let's sell it. let's sell it and we'll use the equity out of this to make sure that we've got a really low mortgage on our new house, and then that way, we're building for our future. She goes, okay. So we put the house on the market, and instantly we had a load of people come and they offered us full asking price. And I thought, fantastic, okay, this is great. One by one, they had their own little issues, so 3 of them dropped out. The 4th one came along and they offered us, and at this point, I've got to be in approximately 6 weeks into the purchase of the new one. At this point, I started to become motivated. Not because I needed the money, it's because I just didn't want the burden of having this property on the market whilst having ownership of the new property. It meant that I then got 2 mortgages to it, and then I still had an emotional attachment because that's the first house that I bought. And so I said to them, the guys that were interested in the property, I said, guys, make me an offer. And that was my first point of motivation. Now, remember, I didn't have to, but going back to the points of what I said earlier, there's so many different points of motivation. I was now looking to upscale. I wanted to sell this house so that I could go up the ladder. That was the level of motivation. They actually offered me 10 grand less than the asking price. Begrudgingly, after negotiation, I still took a bit of a drop, but I sold slightly less than what I wanted to. And I did that because I wanted to move on with the rest of my life. Now, I wasn't in financial hardship, so in theory, I wasn't a motivated seller, but I was motivated because I wanted to move on with the rest of my life. And the reason and the point of this podcast is that to think that motivation is not about money, it's about all the other reasons that go behind it. I came across a vendor the other day. They've got a property over in the West Midlands, and their motivation is that they want to sell the property so that they can give their children the funds to act as a deposit on a purchase for their own property. Now, that's a really kind gesture. And they were prepared, to take a really, they said that we'll accept up to 80% of the market value. So we've made them a proposal, and we believe they're going to accept that. But again, that's not financial hardship. That's because they want to help their family member. Now, would you have considered that as a motivated seller when you're thinking about motivated sellers? Think about a motivated seller and understand what their problem is. Understand what is the pain and what is their motivation. And you can only do that by listening to them. Remember, we were given 2 ears and 1 mouth, and use them in that way. You listen. You sit there, you drink their tea, you drink their coffee, you eat their biscuits, and you listen. The guys that sit and tell the tale, or sit there and listen to the tale, will be the ones that get the deal. And going back to, I'll give you another little story. Back between 2000 and 2005, I actually employed a gentleman, let's just call him John for now, and his role was to go and sit with the vendors. When we got a call and said that they want to sell their property, our first response wasn't about money. Our first question wasn't about money. Our first question was, I'll tell you what, shall we come and have a look at the property, and it gives us an opportunity to have a chat with you. They said, yeah, great. So our first step was, let's get our foot through the door. So John went over. So John was a late 40s, early 50s kind of guy, very well spoken, and happy just to listen to stories. And his role, when we recruited him, his role was very simple. Go there, listen to everything that they've got to say, drink their tea, eat their biscuits, be in the property for about an hour, maybe 2, absolute max, build absolute rapport, build the trust and everything. And then once we've done that and we understand everything about it, we'll go back to them with a solution and an offer that we think works for both parties. And that strategy worked extremely well because all the people, other guys were going in and out within 10 minutes. We were there for 2 hours. And as a result of that, they got to know John really well. They got to know the ethics of John. They understood the ethics of the business and the company. And we bought so many properties just by listening. Before, a vendor would call me, yeah, okay, do you want to come over and have a look at it? I would go in there. I'd be in the house for about 10 to 15 minutes. I'd say, I'll tell you what, okay, I'll come back to you with an offer. Let's see where we go and go from there. And because I didn't spend that time building that rapport and spending that time listening to them, understanding their stories, understanding their pain and motivation, it was almost like a gamble, 50-50, was I going to get the deal or was I not? Whereas now, we take the time, concentrate, understand the root of the issue, understand the problem, and come up with a solution for it. So every motivated seller, we treat every vendor as a motivated seller. You know, if you have a look on Rightmove, how many properties are there on Rightmove? Every single one of those owners have got a story to tell. Going back to it, they may be upscaling, they may be downscaling, they may be emigrating, they may be a tired landlord, they may be in financial hardship. We don't know that yet. We can't tell that. But one thing, and the common theme is very simple. They're all looking to sell. And there's a reason why they're looking to sell. It's your role to understand the reason for sale and then to come up with a solution that works for everyone involved. So there we have it, guys. Motivated sellers, believe it or not, everywhere. Use that tip and work with it so that it comes up with solutions. So guys, hopefully you've enjoyed that session. I've enjoyed that, quite deep, that one. And hopefully that gives you something to think about. But hopefully you've enjoyed the session. As always, if you like it, please like it, share it, and share it with like-minded people. If you can, leave us a review on the podcast store or on the app store. That would be fantastic so that we get up in the ranking. That's always a bonus. As always, if you like more free content, you're more than welcome to go to my YouTube channel by searching Arsh Ilahi. I've got hundreds of videos on YouTube where I look at all different kinds of property strategies, teaching you how to do them, where to find them, etc. So go to YouTube, type in Arsh Ilahi. If you want to get social and you want to contact with me on social media, please feel free to do so by finding me under Arsh Ilahi. You can find me on Instagram, LinkedIn, Facebook and Twitter. And then finally, if you haven't already done so, please download the Property Investor app. It's the UK's first property investment marketplace which showcases all kinds of property investment deals. I would consider it the right move for property investment deals. It's completely free to download. You can go to the website, which is propertyinvestorapp.co.uk, or if you've got a smartphone, go into your app store, whether it be Android, go to Google Play, or whether it's an Apple phone, just go to the app store and type in Property Investor. It takes 2 minutes to register. And within the space of 2 minutes, you've got all kinds of property deals in the palm of your hand, ranging from Scotland right down to Cornwall. So if you like the thought of that, go and download it. And again, if you like the app, please leave us a review on the App Store. As always, in these testing times and these tough times, I wish you all to be safe, healthy and happy. And I look forward to speaking to you all very soon. Thank you and bye-bye.
The large majority of people make a positive change if they take immediate action. So act now. Download the Property Investor app and join Arsh on his social media channels to excel your property journey.